So there's been a lot of boos today every time I mention Camilla, and during the break there we did a show of hands asking who would like to see Camilla be Queen or not be Queen. Who thinks absolutely no, she should not be Queen, Camilla? Show of hands there, folks. Oh, interesting, looks about everybody. There must be someone. Is there anyone thinks Camilla should be? One lady, two ladies, is that it? Yes? Oh, well, there you go. There's no need for an online poll, is there? I think that's a pretty good indication. We're talking about this today because there have been reports over the weekend that the Queen is considering a plan which would enable her to hand over power to Prince Charles during her lifetime by invoking something called the Regency Act. This would make him king in all but name, and of course wife Camilla would be by his side. It's a very interesting one. We've been running an online poll as well, just to let you know. Would you like to see Camilla as Queen? So far we've had over, I think it's 23,000 votes, loads of you getting in touch. 86% saying no. 86%. Which is a huge number. Why? What is it? Why can't we seem to accept Camilla?
Oh, because the other woman is never accepted, is she really? And especially with women. It's like whenever... It's amazing, actually, that when a man has an affair, most women hate the other woman more than the man. Like, they'll go, yeah, but she led him on. She knew he was married. And I always go, but he knew he was married as well. You know, so I think it's harsh. I think it's really harsh on her, you know, and it's just the way that whole royal system works, you know.
I'm really surprised it was that stark in here,
like
that you've only got, you know, two people who've said yes. You know, I would, maybe 60-40, but that's, you know, quite strong, and they're quite vocal in here as well.
No, I also bet a lot of people who really are feel very anti-Camilla being Queen have probably divorced themselves and have been through the, you know, the real murky mire of divorce and, you know, breaking up people's marriages or being the victim of a breakup yourself. So why can't we forgive Camilla, where clearly we do forgive Charles?
Yeah.
Is it to do with the love of the...
Oh, we don't forgive Charles either.
No.
So it's an absolute mutual thing for them as a couple, as opposed to just the individuals.
They're unacceptable.
And it's not just about the love that everybody had for Diana. That is not just solely that. It is them as a couple.
So what is the answer then, folks? Do we want to see William and Kate just go straight to them? Is that the general consensus?
No, I don't like it, Christine. I don't like it.
Doesn't like this.
First of all, I want the Queen to be Queen till she takes her last breath.
Okay.
Because, you know...
And I think that's how she feels,
yeah,
too.
I hope so.
When you only have to look at the coronation, and if you look at the series The Crown, you see how we all... I mean, we don't know, but we feel that she took on this vow as a sacred vow, and she will not give that throne up until, as you say, she draws her last
And sticking
breath.
to the tradition as well.
What worries me is that, I mean, God forbid, but at some point it's going to happen. And then I think we will be faced with, do we want a monarchy at all, or do we put up with Charles and Camilla? And I think that's going to be a very big dilemma.
Well, for me, yes and yes for me.
Yeah,
it's not a dilemma for me.
No,
so what do you want?
No, because I feel like Charles has waited his whole life to be king. And I think it would be sad, you know. I mean, even if he's getting on, isn't he? 70. And people are like, oh, well, he'd be too old now, it should pass straight to him. I don't care if he's only king for 2 or 3 years. I just think he deserves that moment. You know, he's been brought up in it, he's trained for it, and I think he deserves it.
I just wouldn't want it to be William and Kate because they've got a young family. I want them to enjoy their young family together, and, you know, and... I would hate it if they had all that pressure on themselves to do all that, because you looked at the pressure that she was under and she took on at 25 years old and with a young family, and you think, my God, she did actually take that on board. And I think that's why she's got such a strong sense of duty. And I'm exactly the same as you. I hope till her last breath she's there.
Yeah, but it's funny, you know, because my 16-year-old daughter, she's really into... well, she's not really into it, but she's got into watching the Tudors and all the documentaries about kings and queens from years ago. Yeah. And she said to me the other day, I have no interest in our royal family. And I said, why? And she said, because I just feel like in those days there was a real mystery about them, and they were massively in power. They did rule the land, you know. And she said, now I feel like I I could just go into a supermarket and probably bump into one of our royal family.
You could. That's what they've
made
it,
no mystery about them anymore, you know. They
there
dress
was about
the same
Diana, though, you see. There was an enormous charisma about Diana, and sadly we've lost her. And I think as we've lost her, we've lost a lot of that magic, haven't we?
Can I ask
she was open, wasn't she?
Can I ask you,
Sorry,
excuse my ignorance, so if Charles became king, Camilla would become queen.
Yeah.
So why if we had a queen, does her husband not become king?
Because in the history of things, the king is the most important position and the queen is second to that. So you can't have somebody who is there as queen and just some bloke marries her and becomes king, which would then be more important than her. You can't have that, and that's the old sexism of the way it's always worked.
Thank goodness Anne's here.
There you go, we're going into gender.
I thought you might have looked at me for that answer and I didn't know where I was going to go. And I made something up.
Thank you.